They say that film is an art. Film is not just art. Film is power. Film is magic. But most of all, film is a weapon. Wow! I wonder who would be worse to work with, the director or Stanley Kubrick? Hey horror enthusiasts, my name is Thomas and welcome back to the TLEV History of series. As of when this video is uploaded, we are 1 week away from opening night of Halloween Horror Nights 2017. A lot of you have requested that I do this icon, and the more and more I researched him, the more I wanted to cover him. Today's History of will be based on the third and most complicated HHN icon, the director. Now you know her, so I hope, then let's get to it. The director, also known by his real name Paolo Ravinsky, was the main event icon at Halloween Horror Nights 13. He appeared in the show Infestation, where he tortured a park guest by having a poisonous insect or arachnid placed on their head. He also appeared in his own haunted house, All Night Die-In, where he could be seen the first scene of the maze standing beside a drive-in screen. The other sections of the house were based on his cut of 4 horror films: Halloween, Friday the 13th, A Nightmare on Elm Street, and the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. For the following year's event, Halloween Horror Nights 14, Paolo appeared in the haunted house Horror Nights Nightmares alongside Jack, the Caretaker, and Eddie Schmidt. He would later appear as co-icon with other returning characters, the Caretaker, Jack the Clown, and the Storyteller for Halloween Horror Nights Sweet 16. He also appeared in the sequel to his 2003 house All Night Die-In, Take 2, where he presented a new cut of 4 more horror features: The Ring, Hellraiser, Scream, and Silence of the Lambs. The director is one of 2 HHN icons to have also appeared at Halloween Horror Nights Hollywood. The director was also revealed to be the first icon for Halloween Horror Nights in Universal Studios Singapore when it started in October of 2011. However, he looks very different from Paolo Ravinsky. The look of the director is a scar across his left eye, and they have called him Billy Skorsky, indicating that the director from Singapore is likely a different character. Since the director has made an impactful appearance in both Orlando and Hollywood, his storyline is a bit different for each park. However, the backstory remains the same. Paolo Ravinsky was born in Eastern Europe. Aspiring to be a filmmaker, he initially started out as a snuff film director, capturing actual human suffering, torture, and death on his movie camera. His first project was a controversial feature known as The Widow's Eye. The film shocked so many of his country population that Ravinsky was forced out, which is when he came to America. Law enforcement agencies and film critics call his work snuff cinema. The director prefers his work to be called art. Some people found tamer examples of his work, such as The Bloodletting and Death Procession. Now that's the backstory, which is pretty much where the similarities end. Now let's get into what HHN Orlando's storyline is. Paolo was hired by Universal Orlando to film his newest horror film at their Islands of Adventure park. Here he turned each of the park into a living horror movie as part of his dream project. The director himself would appear in All Night Die-In at the event. He also hosted his own torture show where he would subject victims to audience to horrors on stage and film their reactions. The director would return years later with the other icons for Halloween Horror Nights Sweet 16 with his own house All Night Die-In Take 2, and took part in the ensemble show featuring each of the 4 icons performing killing in their signature styles. For a time in 2010, the director was bounded by magic to the Sumerian demon known as Fear, and dubbed the representation of sacrifice, due to his willingness to sacrifice anything and everything in the name of film. In 2012, the director was revealed to be a member of the Legions of Horror, a stringoit, along with Lady Luck. Now here's the storyline for Hollywood. For Hollywood, Paolo was hired by Universal Studios Hollywood to create the ultimate horror movie of all time. Before they allowed production to begin, Universal requested that Paolo submit a short film detailing his project to preview it for executives. However, when Universal viewed the graphic short film, which contained real torture and real death, they claimed Paolo's sick vision was too graphic for movie audiences. They then had the project cancelled for good and banned Paolo from ever stepping foot into Universal Studios again. But Paolo did in fact take up residence in an abandoned backlot set at the park, vowing to get revenge on Universal. Aware that Paolo was hiding in the backlot, Universal still allowed their annual Halloween event to run in 2006, but warned visitors that Paolo was incredibly dangerous. The director appeared at the event in Terror Tram Director's Cut, where he would take over the backlot tram tour and subject the riders to horrifying, deadly situations within the various movie sets they toured. Now here's another thing that's a little interesting. Ever heard of the phrase, an art piece taking on a life of its own? Well, something similar happened with the director. In the mid-2000s, a fan-made web series began to show up of the real Paolo Ravinsky, claiming that HHN stole his personality for the event. The director sought revenge by killing actors, security personnel, and horror producer Bob Ferguson himself on the backlot, filming all of the killings. He escaped capture and vanished soon after killing Ferguson. Paolo would return several years later, making new videos ranting about the subpar state of Hollywood and the horror genre, especially his disdain for remake of classic horror films, even recutting a few of his old kills together as a protest to the remake trend. His final two videos featured Paolo hunting down a blogger who wrote about her suicidal tendencies, and after knocking her unconscious and tying her up, convinced her to allow him to take her life on camera. Since then, rumors of this version of Paolo showing up at Universal's Halloween Horror Nights events have circulated, along with the rumors of vanishing park guests during the event. Images of him attending the event and filming have not been found online, but no new videos have surfaced. Yet. And that about wraps up the history of the director. Thank you guys so much for watching. What other history of videos should we make? Let us know in the comments section. If you stayed until this point, then you clearly liked it, so hit that like button. Also, if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to the League of Extraordinary Vloggers for more videos on everything horror related. But don't forget, tomorrow night we are having our 4th Halloween Horror Nights live stream, so make sure to participate. The movies we're watching are Purge Election Year, Sinister, and Insidious. Now if you'll excuse me, I'm going to start looking for those fan videos. Bye!